have coming to us to speak to us on the overview of Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action, Reimagining the Beijing Declaration on Girl-Child Globally. We will now be hearing from Mary Kurek, CEO, Frontrunners Incorporated, North Carolina, USA.
So much. I appreciate the opportunity to speak, and I have to say I resonate with everything that's been said so far, especially Sung Young. I really believe very much in my heart of what you were saying, because I've helped to develop a couple of youth leadership programs in my past, and that's exactly what we were all about. So thank you. I'm going to start by saying I come to the panel today to speak about how we might reimagine the Beijing Declaration of the Girl Child from a global perspective. The experience I bring to this conversation comes from working to connect innovators and solution providers to those who can move them closer to people who need their solutions. This activity covers many of the United Nations SDGs and includes women's and girls' empowerment. I've interviewed over 300 global innovators for our magazine called Frontrunners Innovate, and have made over 1,000 introductions for innovators. We have co-founded a youth mentorship program utilizing my curated network in partnership with the Sub Saharan Open University headquartered in Nigeria. And we devote some magazine space regularly to girls and women's empowerment programs throughout needy areas worldwide. I have a couple of different viewpoints to share on the subject I've been tasked to speak about, and I'll share that by starting with a quote from the source, which is, of course, the Beijing Declaration. The Convention on the Rights of the Child recognizes that states, parties shall respect and ensure the rights set forth in the present convention to each child within their jurisdiction without discrimination of any kind, irrespective of the child's or his or her parents or legal guardians' race, color, sex, language, religion, political or other opinion, national, ethnic, or social origin, property, disability, birth, or status. In 1995, this statement, along with the rest of the declaration, was praised as an extraordinary step forward for gender equality. In the years since the declaration, as we've heard previously, cutting off girls' genitals and has slowed, but economic empowerment still creeps along. Girls still miss days at school when experiencing their menstrual periods, and sometimes because of lack of sanitary pads, they utilize old rags, sit in the sand, or transact sex for sanitary products. As of January 2020, the World Health Organization reports that approximately 12 million girls aged 15 to 19 years and at least 777,000 girls under 15 years give birth each year in developing regions. At least 10 million unintended pregnancies occur each year among adolescent girls aged 15 to 19 years in the developing world. Complications during pregnancy and childbirth are a leading cause of death for 15 to 19-year-olds globally. Of the estimated 5.6 million abortions that occur each year among adolescent girls aged 15 to 19 years, 3.9 million are unsafe, contributing to maternal mortality, morbidity, and lasting health problems. We have research, we have voices, we have lots of voices, we have papers, we have speeches, but what is actually happening? Better yet, what is actually needed to reimagine the Beijing Declaration on the Girl Child globally? Again, let's refer briefly to the source, the Declaration's own strategic objectives, and relate specifically to the girl child. 1, eliminate all forms of discrimination against the girl child. 2, eliminate negative cultural attitudes and practices against girls. 3, promote and protect the rights of the girl child and increase awareness of her needs and potential. 4, eliminate discrimination against girls in education, skills development, and training. And 5, eliminate discrimination against girls in health and nutrition. 6, eliminate the economic exploitation of child labor and protect young girls at work. 7, eradicate violence against the girl child. 8, promote the girl child's awareness of and participation in social, economic, and political life. 9, strengthen the role of the family in improving the status of the girl child. Although I won't list the specific actions that go along with these objectives, we can see where the focus lies. Perhaps these were not intentionally listed in order of significance, but my personal opinion in ordering the importance of righting the situation is to stop the bleeding. By that I mean you have to address the violence against girls and women as a first priority. I want us to think of emergency responders arriving at the scene of an automobile accident where the driver is unconscious and bleeding. The emergency immediately begins assessing the driver's injuries before starting treatments. But the assessment is aimed at stopping the bleeding as immediately as possible and then treating other injuries. Making the patient comfortable as is possible and getting them to more long-term medical attention then becomes the goal. If I take that scenario to the big picture of hurts or injuries to the girl child, I see that you must stop the pattern of violence toward females first before you can treat the rest by creating a sense of comfort that will open the door for more long-term fixes. So some of the bleeding can be stopped if we get governments to use a stronger arm on criminals who are trafficking young girls. We need to find a way to protect and prevent female genital mutilation and female infant murders. Some of the issues above all have to do with long practiced, cultural customs, and those are hard to fight without laws, policies, and education. I don't have the answers, just a feeling that providing swift and stern correction through stronger laws may be a solution. As with any crime and atrocity, reversing the pain, if you will, and allowing the perpetrators to feel their wrongs in a way that hits their income potential or independence could bring about some degree of change. But here's the other perspective I wanted to bring. Along with cultural customs, another driver for actions against the girl child is likely poverty. A few years ago, I interviewed a former U.S. military special operations chief named Jake, who founded an NGO for the purpose of fighting off terrorism in marginalized areas of the world. His theory, one that he has shared with the the United States Congress and Homeland Security, is that extreme poverty creates a fertile ground for terrorism to move into an area. Lack of economic development, without education, jobs, healthcare, etc., allows terrorists to attack, take over leadership, train youth to join their forces, and basically consume an entire area. Having spent years in war-torn terrorist-occupied areas while in the military, Jake was sure of his concept, so sure that he has identified a dozen such areas around the world that, without help, will fall into terrorism in the next few years. Jake's solution is to go into those very fragile areas and develop the local economy, taking away the opportunity for a terrorist takeover. So recalling this interview, I'm thinking that Jake's theory on how poverty provides a gap for violence connects to much of what we're seeing happening with girls in these areas. Lack of education opportunities means that whatever is available is likely only available to males. Girls are married off early, as we've heard earlier, sold to older men, maybe possibly into slavery or other forms of trafficking. In some areas of the world, we know that sex trafficking is happening as early as toddler years. Basic needs such as food allocation and healthcare follow the same rule of male priority. So the solution is the same as what Jake determined: build the economy in a sustainable way, then move on to the next community. That takes time, but if you identify and start with the worst areas first, and then you work your way from there, you have a better chance of having the good results spread out from what you've just done to nearby areas. It's just a broader approach to stopping the bleeding. So I know that the UN and other NGOs have figured out that economic development brings all good things to pass, but tying it up as a strategic endeavor to end girl-child violence and bringing equality to a norm may be a direct connection that hasn't been fully explored. This is a play where everyone has a part. It's the responsibility of local governments, global and local NGOs, and large academic institutions. All 23 pages of the Beijing Declaration center on holding governments accountable for girls' and women's rights. And as a mother of a daughter, I reimagine the global version of what is possible with our girl children as a matter of shared concern for, number one, the right for them not to be violated for any reason and to be seen as equal to males by their parents and society. Maybe we even start with concerned parents, a global petition of statement promoting that parents everywhere work harder to protect their children, value them equally, and raise them to value each other the same. In closing, I'm proud to speak on this panel and share upon the launch of YOUTHGETHER that this organization provides an open door to grow and develop the future by developing our young global citizens to help them enjoy equality and thereby new and amazing opportunities. We can share those opportunities with them and love them into confidence. We can empower our girl children to believe and know that the good Lord has already selected them and has appointed them as community guardians worthy of taking us to the next level. So I just want to say thank you very much. I want to say thank you to Dr. Osita Anamika. I know I'm running out of time. I just wanted to say this. I couldn't be prouder of 13-year-old Namara Luanza of Tanzania, whom Dr. Anamika and I met recently and who we're bringing forward. She'll be speaking on this panel today. So she's a good example of a girl child giving her voice to you all. And YOUTHGETHER is just one of the most amazing opportunities to come along in a while. And so I'm very proud to be here upon the launch. So congratulations to everyone, and thank you so much for allowing me to speak.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mary. We look forward to your further contributions. And it's good to see that you're in North Carolina, US. I will give you a call. I'm in North Carolina currently as we speak.